This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
CBU crunch. Breton University cuts jobs and raises tuition amid a massive revenue loss.
Salary growth. Nova Scotia wages outpace inflation and increase faster than the rest of Canada.
And helping hands. This Truro mom launches a diaper bank to support local families in need.
Clouds building in over the next couple of days with a few showers in the mix. More beneficial rain late week. Your full forecast is coming up.
Good evening. Breton University is bracing for layoffs and tuition hikes amid a major financial downfall.
In total, 50 staff will lose their jobs, the result of a staggering $77 million revenue loss over the next 3 years.
And as Kyle Moore reports, the primary reason, a sharp drop in international enrollment following federal immigration caps.
You don't have to look far to know Breton University is growing. The campus is full of construction materials and equipment, with a new build for a Centre for Discovery and Innovation underway and a recently completed medical campus. But inside, there are financial struggles.
That money that is being devoted to those facilities, you just can't take that and turn it loose towards operating costs. A lot of the funding is restricted for the intended purpose, i.e. the capital bills.
Gordon McGuinness says CBU is facing a $20 million revenue shortfall this year and received a similar financial hit last year. The result means 50 fewer employees.
Some of those would be vacancies, but we also put out another voluntary retirement incentive initiative. So it's the second consecutive year for that. We had a number of people take up on that program. Unfortunately, it left a handful of people, probably in the range of 17 or thereabouts, who will be unfortunately receiving layoff notices.
Over the last 2 years, Nova Scotia has received 6,800 fewer international students because of new policies from Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada. Of that total, 4,400 had been at CBU.
IRCC, by their own planning, was looking for about a 10% reduction in study permit approvals in 2024. In fact, it was closer to 70%. So that's just one indication of what has happened.
McGuinness says the university is continuing to push for changes, but that no programs are being cut as a result. Kyle Moore, CBC News, Sydney.
A CBC News analysis has found that wages in Nova Scotia grew far faster last year compared to Canada overall. And that's after accounting for inflation cutting into paychecks. Andrew Lamb explains.
It's the third straight year that wage growth in Nova Scotia has outpaced price increases. Last year, the median wage in Canada was up 0.5% from the year before when adjusted for inflation. In Nova Scotia, it was a 4.6% increase to about $27 an hour.
We do see that there was increases across most industries.
This labor market analyst says the higher wages were driven in part by a big jump in the healthcare and social assistance industries. Those sectors include workers in a broad range of workplaces like hospitals and residential care facilities.
The reason why that's notable is it's a very large industry of employment, right? There were around 80,000 people employed in healthcare and social assistance.
One union says the spike in wages could be explained in part by retroactive payments and increases, resulting from deals that followed expired collective agreements. CUPE says more than 14,000 employees in acute healthcare and health support had wage increases and adjustments that were applied last year. That included payments retroactive to 2 years prior. Even with wages going up, Nova Scotians continue to face challenges with affordability. High rents led this computer scientist to move away from Halifax.
I graduated last year, and I was planning to keep living here and get a job here, but there was an opportunity in Truro. It paid less, but the rent there is less, and the jobs here didn't pay enough more to make it worth it.
This economist, though, says there is good news when we look longer term at how wages have changed since 2019.
We've had a gradual increase in real wages in Nova Scotia and a narrowing of the gap with the rest of the country.
Nova Scotia no longer has the lowest median wage out of the provinces. With last year's increase, the province is now 4th lowest. Andrew Lamb, CBC News, Halifax.
A number of staff members at the Spring Hill institution were hospitalized after being assaulted by an inmate. Police say the staff members were assaulted with a weapon at the medium security federal facility Sunday evening. The assault took place while they were escorting the inmate back to a cell. The head of the union representing federal correctional officers tells CBC 5 officers were badly injured. Correctional Service Canada says they are investigating the incident.
Nova Scotia's Department of Labour and the Medical Examiner's Office are investigating after a fisherman died on board a boat last week in Cape Breton waters. The department says a worker was fatally injured while on board a fishing boat off St. Peter's. Richmond County RCMP say they were called in after the incident was reported last Thursday afternoon. No other details about the incident have been released. The criminalization of coercive control is being considered at the federal level. While some advocates are for it, others, because it will add awareness, others are against it because it could harm survivors. Alex Guy has that story.
When Lucy met her now ex-partner just over 6 years ago, he was everything she was looking for. But it descended into abuse that unexpectedly led to her own arrest.
I'd realized within those last weeks that if I didn't get out of the relationship, I might not live.
By the end of the relationship, Lucy had been tormented verbally and physically to the point that she developed PTSD symptoms. Much of it began with elements of coercive control. CBC has agreed to grant her anonymity for her safety. She remembers hitting him during an argument before fleeing their home in fear. Lucy was arrested and charged with assault because of Nova Scotia's pro-arrest, pro-charge policies when it comes to domestic violence.
Being in a jail cell was the most dehumanizing experience I've ever had in my life, especially after I've just, in my experience, fought for my survival.
Lucy was advised by a lawyer to plead guilty and go through domestic violence court, and now has no criminal record. Experts say coercive control happens over a long period of time and can impact a survivor's self-esteem. Patterns consist of humiliation, gaslighting, controlling behaviors, coercive tactics, and threats. Over time, Cameronesi says coercive control can be part of any relationship, and the effect can be compounded if people outside those relationships question why the survivor doesn't just leave.
I think because there's no actual physical signs that we can see, and if we are from the outside, we don't understand the dynamics and the impact that that can have on someone's lives and someone's cognition and emotions.
Lucy says it's difficult to live in a society that, in her view, punishes victims in both everyday life and the court system.
We're never going to make steps forward. We're never going to improve this issue until we start breaking down the root causes of why. Some people crave power and privilege and dominance over others in our society.
A new proposed federal bill, C-16, the Protecting Victims Act, is pushing to criminalize coercive control. Emma Halpern says this could benefit survivors, but it could also open them up to being charged, as Lucy was, because of Nova Scotia's pro-arrest, pro-charge policies.
In digging into these files, we do see that there's a lot of coercive control happening prior to those charges being laid.
Some experts I spoke with say coercive control should be criminalized because it would create a paradigm shift in society so that situations and incidents like Lucy's can be viewed as a pattern and not as a standalone event. But training designed from the ground up would be needed to address this shift in all levels of the criminal justice system. Alex Guy, CBC News, Halifax.
The province has launched a new web portal that will allow Nova Scotians to renew their health cards. MSI Online is now available to people 19 and older who have a health card. Once logged in, people can request a replacement, update their address and contact information, and update their organ and tissue donation status, among other things. Residents will continue to receive health card renewals by mail unless they choose to receive it through MSI Online.
Pretty nice day out there today. Here's Ryan with your weather forecast.
Yes, loving the sunshine.
Yeah, the sun was great. The temperatures were variable. That is definitely an understatement. In fact, when we look at how big the spread was today, we were in the 15, 16 degree range across areas around the Bay of Fundy and Cobequid Bay and up to Amherst, and yet just 6 in downtown Halifax and Western Head. It's that onshore flow, just 4 in Canso today, and that east to southeast flow, it's going to continue. We've got this blocking high just northeast of Newfoundland, and so we got a system coming in from the west, and between those two systems, the onshore flow will continue tomorrow. We're going to get into a chance for showers overnight tonight into tomorrow across western areas. The sun will continue to break through across eastern areas. In fact, Cape Breton looking at a lot of sunshine tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud. There's that stream of moisture. It's going to find the path of least resistance and move up through western areas. As you can see, that high again hanging out, keeping the sun in through Newfoundland. We will all get into a better chance for some rain late week. We'll talk about that with your 7-day coming up.
All right, full forecast on the way. Thanks,
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Well, Halifax Diaper Bank, we told you about last year, is inspiring others to help. As the CBC's Luke Ettinger reports, a Truro mother is collecting and distributing baby products to those in need in her area.
And we just organize them and put them into the amount that we need.
Raquel Perez is making a difference, one diaper at a time. The mother of a 4-month-old knows how quickly the cost of diapers adds up. When she saw a diaper bank operating in Halifax, Perez saw a need for something similar in Truro.
I never realized how expensive it is to have a baby. Like, when you don't have one, you kind of just walk through the aisle and don't see it.
Perez started a Facebook page, and the first donation was money to buy products.
And then just people have come and drop off stuff on my door. I've opened my doors and package over there.
Among the donors are the Smith family. Sisters Aurora and Myra collected over 1,000 diapers.
We see in a day how many diapers we go through with their little brother, so we try and get involved in as many citizenship projects as we can in the community.
While the local food bank provides diapers, stock can be limited, so clients in need are sent to Perez.
We're open 4 days a week, so that's over 2,000 households a month. So you take that into consideration of the amount of folks and young parents or guardians who are in charge of folks in diapers. They're needing those just as much as the meal on the table.
The diaper bank operates on the honor system, so no questions are asked when a request is made.
So I feel blessed that I'm able to support others, but I know that I'm just the face. This is a community thing. These are not my diapers. This is not my money. I'm just the person that is delivering things from the community to other community members.
Diapers, wipes, and baby lotions of all sizes are accepted, even if the box has been opened. Perez says larger sizes are the most requested. Luke Ettinger, CBC News, Truro.
As the Scotiabank Centre in downtown Halifax approaches its 50th anniversary, the city says it will have to look at major upgrades. On Tuesday, Council heard from the team at Events East, which runs the facility. While recent improvements have included new roofing and renovated washrooms, the aging building needs major structural changes to meet today's accessibility and technology standards. Last year, the Scotiabank Centre held 110 events with more than 500,000 attendees, creating more than $50 million in direct spending.
The economic return, both direct and indirect, are enormous from Scotiabank Centre and from Halifax Convention Centre. They need to be fed and maintained and cared for, so I would put that in the necessary column.
The Events East team says they will work with the municipality to decide exactly how much money will be needed. They say options to raise money could include new ticket charges.
Well, the milestones keep piling up for Cole Harbour's own Sidney Crosby.
Sid the Kid notched another one last night.
Crosby back to the line for Letang. And another strange carom is freeze, and it is! A strange bounce and a go-ahead goal for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Sidney Crosby got his 100th career playoff win after leading the Pittsburgh Penguins to victory against the Philadelphia Flyers.
Crosby got 2 assists in the win, but Philadelphia still leads the series 3-2. Game 6 goes tomorrow night in Philadelphia. Oh, things starting to cloud up, it looks like, over Halifax Harbor. Ryan's up next with the full weather forecast. Do stay with us.
All right, your full weather forecast coming up now. Sort of feels like we snuck another sunny day in there today, which was much appreciated.
We're running out of luck, though, right?
Yeah.
On the short term, at least.
The clouds trying to break down the door and will indeed move in tonight. And funny, along the Atlantic coastline today, even here in the metro area, you could see the cloud kind of coming in for times, and the sun was trying to fight back. It was really just along the Atlantic coastline, and actually a pretty good time lapse here from Lockport, Crescent Beach. This is, of course, south South Shore. And you can see this morning that sun was making its way through. It was pretty nice. And you can see how wispy that cloud is on the edge of that system, right? That high level cloud. And then, in comes the mid to low level cloud, even some fog patches at times. But this afternoon, it did kind of fight back the inland warmer temps and the high pressure. But the cloud's kind of dominating again there right now. This is a live shot. And thanks again to Nova Scotia webcams. A beautiful shot there of Lockport Crescent Beach, that is. Now, as we look at the temperatures, not just the clouds, but the temperatures have certainly struggled along that Atlantic coastline today, as I mentioned earlier, with those daytime highs. Still a beautiful evening across most of the province. Again, those clouds and a few showers starting to snake into the south, and we'll show you the radar in just a second. And those east to southeast winds, they have just been dominating the whole forecast today in terms of the temps and the feel out there, and moving in that cloud cover and shower activity in. Note, couple of showers starting to creep in to the south. Looks like it's moving in on the radar. Based on the webcams, this could still be Virga, which is rain that's there, but evaporating before it makes its way down to the surface. So, but I'm expecting that we will eventually see those showers as the layer fills out. Those showers making their way right down to the surface here as we see this low trying to break down. This area of high pressure, this blocking high, is not really allowing it to move in. So what it's going to do is this moisture is going to be funneling up the path of least resistance, moving up into western areas, then into New Brunswick, and then kind of fizzling. It's this low here holding hands with another low that's developing off the U.S. South. This is actually going to be the low that moves in for late Thursday in through Friday, and we'll time all that out for you in just a moment. Temps still very spring-like across Canada right now. The warmest of temperatures across the U.S. South. Now, for tonight, our forecast temperatures are going to be right near the freezing mark, 0 to -2 across Cape Breton, 0 to +2 for eastern and into central areas of Nova Scotia, and 4, 5, and 6 degrees for western areas. Here comes that shower activity moving in through this evening into the overnight. It doesn't look like it'll amount to a whole lot, but certainly waking up to some shower activity tomorrow. The best chances are the Tri-County area, but a pretty good chance for some showers in through the valley, down through Lunenburg, and can't rule out some morning showers in the metro and even Truro areas in and around Cobequid Bay. And then by the time we get to the afternoon, it looks like that activity will kind of fizzle out. And it's just kind of mainly cloudy into the afternoon. Cape Breton looking at a terrific day tomorrow with some sun breaks for eastern parts of the mainland as well. But Cape Breton looking at a solid mix of sun and cloud. Southeast winds 20 gusting to 40 will limit temperatures again, but should get to 10 degrees. Cheticamp, Inverness, and high single digits. Port Hood down through to Port Hawkesbury around 7 degrees, and then looking at Antigonish near double digits, and the warmest temperatures tomorrow will be across that Northumberland shore, 12, 13 degrees. The sun here and also away from that onshore flow. Best chance for showers will be Windsor, Hants County, Kentville, and certainly here, as I said, in through the Tri-County area. Note those temperatures quite chilly in those onshore winds. Here comes our next system. Although Thursday looks like that high will still hold on with a mainly cloudy day, chance for some late day showers pushing into the west and through Yarmouth in particular. An isolated risk pushing in Halifax and through the valley and Bridgewater. Looks pretty quiet in the east, and again, temperatures quite variable. And looking at that rain coming in for Thursday night and primarily through Friday morning. Into the afternoon, this will start to clear, but it looks like it's more so a clear out with some sunny breaks on tap for Saturday. Normal temperatures, looks like we'll range from around 10 to 14 on Saturday. Showers back on tap for Sunday, back to some sun, back to some showers as we do the cha-cha-cha, which is great because, as I've been saying, we need that rain.
We sure do.
We sure do. Okay, Ryan, thanks so much.
Ryan.
Thank you.
Well, there's a massive concrete structure in Lakeville, New Brunswick, built in the 1980s.
The CBC's Shane Fowler wanted to find out what it was and discovered a truly unique New Brunswick story.
New Brunswick is a small province, but if you get off the beaten path, you can find some truly massive things. Like the Salmon River Train Bridge, the Bluebell Tunnel, even Noah's Ark. But in the community of Lakeville, just a few kilometers from the New Brunswick-Maine border, there's something there that will make you stop and go, what is that? A massive, brutalist-looking dome protruding its way through the earth. It towers over the landscape here, like something from Star Wars or Dune. But despite its post-apocalyptic appearance, its true purpose is much more down to earth.
It's a dome potato house.
Built in the early 80s, this dome has been storing potatoes for more than 4 decades. Kevin Taylor says he was just a young man when he watched crews build the dome for his father's farm.
Well, it's all concrete. It was all blew up as a balloon first. Then they sprayed insulation inside and then put up a bunch of stickers up and then wire mesh, and then they started pumping concrete. They call it gunite. It's all sprayed. They worked from the inside on a 3-foot circle all the time.
At 12 meters tall and 42 meters wide, Taylor says the dome can hold nearly 4.5 million kilograms of potatoes within its cavernous interior. In the off-season, it stores cars and tractors. But why go with a massive dome?
I don't know, it's just different, I guess.
Taylor says his father was inspired by a trio of potato storage domes built near Lethbridge, Alberta in the late 70s. In a wild New Brunswick connection, these domes still stand today in the community of Chin, Alberta, still storing potatoes next to a McCain French fry processing plant. Those three, along with Taylor's farm dome, were all built by the same company, the Monolithic Dome Institute. Its co-founder, David South, passed away 6 years ago, but his daughter, Melinda South, says she remembers him talking about a dome built in New Brunswick that they'd lost track of until we contacted them.
For potato storages, I think we're the only potato storages he's built in Canada. Right now, we build a lot of safe rooms. FEMA qualifies us as a safe room from tornadoes and hurricanes. And so we'll build a lot of gyms for high schools and community centers. We build churches and homes and schools.
Built 1981, September 81.
The names of the builders are still etched in concrete within its interior. So this dome is truly unique to New Brunswick and still rock solid, according to Taylor, and affords a view like no other. Been up top?
Yeah, I have in the past.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Your buddy there was saying they used to have a couch up top.
Oh, yeah, the fools.
You must have a heck of a view.
Sit up there and drink beer on a Sunday, they would.
Oh, boys, that's...
Well, from up there, right, you can look all around, right?
Coming up, the UK is banning the sale of tobacco to anyone born after 2008. We'll have local reaction.
The United Kingdom has passed legislation that would ban the sale of tobacco products to anyone born after 2008. And that has health advocates in this country suggesting Canada should follow suit. For more on this, we're joined by Robert McDonald, president of Lung and SPEI. So first of all, your reaction when you learned what the UK is doing?
I was thrilled to hear that this legislation had gone through. I've been a big proponent of it for some time now. I believe in the legislation, the fact that it's protecting our next generation. I think that's the key part of this. And I've been working with my colleagues across the country and other lung associations to work together from an advocacy point of view.
But there's going to be obviously some challenges with this. I'm thinking enforcement would be a big one.
Yes, enforcement it's an issue now with the rules of the land. So we need to do more on that. We need to support enforcement agents so that they have the resources available to put and enforce the rules that we put forward.
Well, you think of it as if this stays and the decades roll on, it could be quite strange, right?
It could be. The onus will be put on whoever's selling the product to ensure that the person is of legal age. But yes, the example of a 40-year-old that cannot purchase cigarettes legally and someone 41 who can be going to be an issue at times. That will happen. The one thing that we do know is that the majority of smokers do not start actually prior to being 20 years of age. So that's, a significant role. So as the years go on and we get further away from our youth, we have less chance of picking up the addiction.
Well, yeah, they're hoping this can be like a generational change. So do you see that sort of a breaking of a cycle?
I do, absolutely. As we know, lower socioeconomic folks do have, tend to have higher rates of smoking. And we need to educate and ensure that they're healthy so that they can become productive members even further in society. So yes, we need to take that into consideration. When I think of the health, and we've seen budgets that are being put through across the country, the Department of Health is over close to 50% of many, many provincial budgets. And we need to start to do things differently and get people healthier before they get any illnesses.
Now in the UK, this ban doesn't include vaping. Could that just possibly modernize the way people consume these products?
Yeah, for us, I think we do need to include vaping. It needs to be a nicotine-free generation, and there's going to be further discussions on that. One point that I did hear is that we do have to have consultations with public and learn a bit more. This is still fairly new to Canadians, and we need to get the word out further about all that this entails.
Now, how much pushback do you anticipate from the tobacco industry?
Oh, there will be pushback for sure, and contraband will be one of their main arguments. And again, we need to have that enforcement so that we ensure that people are not illegally obtaining cigarettes.
Mm-hmm. And as of right now, there are different ages for the ability to buy tobacco. Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, I think it's 19, and PEI is 21. How do you reconcile that?
So, first of all, 21 in Prince Edward Island was, they've shown leadership, that government there, and it's, again, given kind of a springboard, if you will, to how much further can we go. Yes, again, we'll have to tie that in, and again, it'll depend on when the date is set for after the date of birth that you can no longer purchase products. So we'll have to streamline that.
So do you like the 2008 number that the UK has?
I do.
Why?
Yeah. So now it's that would be 17, 18-year-olds, and so there's this perception that I graduate to something. I'm old enough now to purchase a cigarette or a nicotine product. And the tobacco companies do play off that and market to that. So we're going to ensure that no one is going to start living healthy right from the get-go when they're teens, because again, we know that the brain doesn't fully develop to 25, and we can all make some decisions that we regret later on in life, and now we can be free from being addicted to our product.
Now, New Zealand put in a law, restrictive law, and then pulled it back. Do you think that could happen in the UK, and does that hurt your chances of advancing it here?
It can. It depends. I know the opposition have come out and had some strong points of view on this in the UK against it. Yes, it can happen. It actually happened in the Philippines as well, and a lot of that has been attributed to the lobbying efforts of the industry.
All right. Well, it's one to watch. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Amy.
Coming up, some positive news in the federal government's spring economic update. We'll have the details.
And the latest on King Charles and Queen Camilla's U.S. state visit, celebrating, quote, historic connections with the UK. Welcome back. The Liberals have delivered their spring economic update, already revealed the Sovereign Wealth Fund, a nation-building investment vehicle announced on Monday by the Prime Minister.
But as Kate McKenna explains, it also includes a program that's designed to help both the economy and young workers.
Un plaisir. Merci tout le monde.
Carney's government says it wants to get more big things built. The spring economic update includes new plans to find workers to do it.
We're building Canada strong for all, because when we do, there's no limit.
New numbers from the government show the Canadian economy has remained stable, doing better than expected despite tariffs and international upheaval.
In the short term, a little bit of resilience, which is giving us a bit of a revenue pop that the government's been able to spend.
The deficit is less than was projected at $67 billion, boosted by strong oil and gas revenues and more tax dollars than expected.
Well, since the fall budget, there was a bit of a $60 billion windfall kind of spread over the 5 years, which has allowed the government to spend about that much in new measures.
These are serious times, and Canadians expect prudent fiscal management. We are very mindful that affordability is top of mind for Canadians.
The spring economic update includes $37 billion in new spending, a key new initiative to recruit, train, and hire up to 100,000 skilled trades workers. It will cost up to $6 billion and will include money for companies to get up to $10,000 in wage incentives, plus bonuses for completing training and fully funded training for Canadians who join the reserves.
That we've been really focused on the question of how we not only attract people to the trades, but I think importantly, as union trainers and colleges have indicated, how we get people through the training.
Canadians and employers will also get a small break on contributing to the Canada Pension Plan. It should save an employee earning $70,000 about $130 annually.
Much remains to be done, but we are building a Canada that is strong and fair, a Canada that is not just for some, most of the time, but for all at all times.
In spite of the better-than-expected outlook, the government is still grappling with a lot of uncertainty, with global pressures, including the pending review of the North American Free Trade Agreement. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
King Charles and Queen Camilla had a packed itinerary on the second day of their U.S. trip, including a White House visit to see President Donald Trump and an address to the U.S. Congress. While the historic allies focused on the common bond, there's also a shared scandal that's overshadowing this royal visit. Lisa Shing reports.
King Charles touching on a wide range of subjects in his address to Congress here on Capitol Hill, talking about how the two countries have a history of intelligence sharing and cultural exchanges. The main theme, however, was on the unity between the two countries, the centuries of shared history, saying that they don't always agree with each other, but that they have that history, they have an alliance that shouldn't be broken.
I pray with all my heart that our alliance will continue to defend our shared values with our partners in Europe and the Commonwealth and across the world. And that we ignore the clarion calls to become ever more inward-looking.
Now, there was a question of whether Charles would acknowledge the fact that the survivors of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein in this speech, and in fact, he did in a somewhat subtle way, but there was a nod to it.
In both of our countries, it is the very fact of our vibrant, diverse, and free societies that gives us our collective strength, including to support victims of some of the ills that so tragically exist in both our societies today.
King Charles also underscored the importance of the NATO alliance, considering that in recent weeks we heard Trump calling into question his support for that alliance, given the tension between the two countries right now. And Charles also acknowledging what happened over the weekend, the assassination attempt on the U.S. president, saying that kind of violence will not be tolerated. Lisa Shing, CBC News, Washington.
Palestinian families in occupied West Bank say their children are being targeted by Israeli settlers. Last week saw 3 teens killed in the latest spike in violence, and human rights groups and international observers say it's only getting worse. Tom Perry reports, and a quick warning, viewers may find parts of the video distressing.
A mother consumed by grief. Nida Al-Nassan making her way to the spot where her 14-year-old son was shot and killed. Aus Al-Nassan was struck by a bullet outside his school in the occupied West Bank village of Al-Murayir. A 32-year-old man was also killed. Video from the day shows students running to their fallen classmate and a figure dressed in military fatigues firing on the school. A week later, some students are back, but their parents are still fearful. Saad Naasan is taking special precautions with his two boys. Before, my kids could walk to school, he says. Now, I put them in the car. I bring them here and then sit waiting for them to finish so I can take them home. Attacks on Palestinians by Israeli settlers have intensified in recent months. Human rights groups and the United Nations say these attacks are often ignored, enabled, or encouraged by Israeli security forces, that settlers routinely go unpunished and act with a sense of impunity.
The bullet hole right here? Yeah, that's a bullet hole.
In this case, witnesses say, rather than pursuing the attackers, soldiers fired tear gas at the school. 17-year-old Omar Nassan was there. He's nervous about showing his face, but he knew both victims and is a distant relative of the 14-year-old who died.
He's not the first friend I lose, so I already accepted that I'm gonna be next. So it's not really much of a life.
The Israel Defense Forces say its soldiers were dispatched following reports of rocks being thrown at a vehicle carrying civilians, including a reserve soldier who opened fire on what the military calls suspects. The IDF says the reservist has been dismissed from his duties and his weapon confiscated. Asked whether anyone could face charges, the IDF says the matter is under review by military police. Tom Perry, CBC News, Al Murayir in the occupied West Bank.
Emergency crews in Indonesia say they've rescued all remaining people trapped after Monday's deadly collision between two trains near the capital. Here's a video of the accident taken from inside one of the trains. A passenger was live streaming as this long-distance train crashed into a stationary commuter train. A train car reserved for women bore the brunt of the impact. 15 people died and 88 others were injured in the incident. Officials say all the victims were women.
Provinces across the country are preparing for wildfire season, and a big part of that is finding recruits who can handle the backbreaking nature of the job. In British Columbia, one boot camp has attracted more than 2,000 hopefuls. Shelley Joyce reports.
BC Wildfire's new recruit boot camps are sending up smoke just outside of Merritt, BC.
Hey guys, let's not stand around.
2,400 people applied for the opportunity to do this. Only 200 will make the final cut.
It was probably one of the hardest things I've done. I don't think I've pushed myself that mentally deep.
Hauling hundreds of pounds of hoses, pumps, and equipment up and down this hillside. Hand-digging fire guard, laying hoses, and initial attack firefighting make this outdoor class an education in endurance and teamwork, all simulating a typical day on the fire line.
I've never felt that kind of physical pain before, and I just didn't think I could do as much as I did, and so I was really proud of myself at the end, but it was one of the hardest things I've had to do.
Chandler Bashtold is an instructor with 5 years of experience.
You're doing it with some of your best friends and your good crew members and your good teammates. So in doing it together, you at the end of the day, the sense of accomplishment is just so rewarding for yourself.
Guys, we can blast this with Hanson.
It takes grit, tenacity, and stamina to stand out here. And many of these applicants say they have gumption that surprised even themselves.
Let's go, let's get moving. Come on.
Melanie Clayton hopes her leadership skills are noticed.
How deep I can dig and show my worth, and also how I can lead, because I'm in this crew supervisor position today, and just showing that I can bring together the team and we can work together.
Days on the fire line during an intense fire season are long and sometimes tedious. Bashtold says sometimes it's the little things, like digging a perfect fire guard that can halt a fire in its tracks.
You see here, if there's any sticks or anything crossing our guard, that fire is allowed to creep across and continue going. So this debris like this would have to not be there. It'll allow fire to cross our guard, so it has to be right down to the mineral soil.
He says that unit crews in the province can spend a full 14-day deployment just digging guard. Over the next 2 weeks, these firefighters will bond at this boot camp, but only the best will be chosen to battle BC fires this summer. Shelley Joyce, CBC News, Merritt, BC.
Many of us have heard of K-pop music, but there's another genre that's seeing a global surge in popularity, Punjabi pop. Two of the biggest names from it are currently touring across Canada. The CBC's Aina Sidhu reports.
Evidence of Punjabi music's explosion in worldwide popularity. Two of its superstars launching Canadian tours simultaneously. And something else is new. Diljit Dosanjh and Karan Aujla are playing the largest venues, starting with Dosanjh at Vancouver's BC Place.
I listen to him every single day, I promise. In the shower, he's my alarm song.
We feel proud of him, but we see ourselves in him.
According to Spotify, streams of Punjabi music have risen sharply in recent years. YouTube Music Canada has ranked Aujla among Canada's top 3 artists every week this year. Dosanjh consistently lands in the top 15. One reason, collaborations with Western artists, helping reach entirely new audiences.
The demand is there as someone like a Kendrick or a Drake, I'd say. It's like we're seeing these shows sell out at equal paces.
Dosanjh's last North American tour, 13 dates in all, generated more than $63 million US, a number that could be surpassed this year by both he and Aujla.
We're expecting a lot of travel from international people to come to their shows.
The impact is even reaching the classroom. Toronto Metropolitan University just wrapped up its first ever course focused on Dosanjh.
What started as grassroots organizations, small shows behind the scenes, have now become stadium scale like performances across the world.
Both Diljit Dosanjh and Karan Aujla's tours make 5 Canadian stops: Vancouver, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Toronto, and here at the Saddle Dome. Aina Sidhu, CBC News, Calgary.
Time now to take a quick break, but first, here's a look at how the markets did today. Canada's main stock index finished lower, while U.S. stock markets also lost ground. Yeah, as you could tell, the cloud moving in on the coastline. It's ever-changing, isn't it, in Nova Scotia?
And a precursor of what's coming in a couple days, right?
Yeah, well, again, the wettest weather for sure Friday. Before we get there, just kind of cloudy, some showers, but more cloud than anything else, which is kind of unfortunate. If it's going to be cloudy, you might as well get rain.
Exactly.
But yeah, we'll have to wait for Friday for that, though some showers starting to creep in. First, let's have a look at our viewer picture of the day. We're going to zoom in on beautiful Gasborough, and this little sign of spring here, right? The grass greening there in the vineyard, and in the foreground, I believe this is purple dead nettle.
Okay.
Based on AI. So don't quote me on that if I'm wrong, but it does look like that is. But either way, it looks nice.
It's
but
pretty.
I don't think you'd want it to take over your field like that. I think that farmer's probably not too happy about it being there. Anyway, I digress. Ryan's picks at cbc.ca. Thanks to Cal for sharing this. And as we look at the Wednesday forecast, temperatures, again, quite cool along the Atlantic coastline in those single digits, but we'll be into the double digits inland and should get to around 13 degrees, even places like Tatamagouche and Amherst, with the sun out there and away from those onshore winds. Cape Breton, a nice mix of sun and cloud, temperatures there 7 to 10. And then for Thursday, clouding up again, more so kind of widespread clouds with some sun breaks certainly possible. The best chance for showers will be in the Yarmouth area, and that is on the leading edge of that next system. So there's that little feed of moisture coming in tonight into tomorrow. That kind of fades away. Thursday's just kind of cloudy, some drizzle, some shower chances, and likely some fog patches rolling in along the coastline, and then fog and rain moving right in for Friday. And that is going to be our wettest day of the next 7 by the looks of things.
Like I say, we need it. Okay,
that's true.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, most parents avoid trying to make their baby cry, but not for this Japanese contest. This is Naki Zumo, or Baby Crying Sumo Contest.
2 wrestlers hold a baby each. A referee makes faces and loud noises in an attempt to make them cry. The winner is whichever baby is loudest or simply the first to crack.
The ritual is based on the belief that it helps aid the healthy growth of children and ward off evil spirits.
There you go.
And everything can be kind of a competition too, can't it? That's it for us tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.